As shown in the figure above, a thin conveyor belt 15 feet long is drawn tightly around two circular wheels, each 1 foot in diameter. What is the distance in feet between the center of the two wheels? So to start, I'm going to redraw this diagram here. Now, this question I know very well because almost every time one of my students comes across it, they get it wrong, which means I have reviewed it with people many times. And the thing that confused me about this question, I remember, was this part here where they say the conveyor belt is 15 feet long. That's partly because I misunderstood what a conveyor belt is, because normally when I look at a conveyor belt, say at a factory, you just see the top portion. So if you were to say to me, walk the length of this conveyor belt, or if you were to tell me this conveyor belt is 15 feet, I would think that means, just from one end of this table to the other, it is 15 feet. But really what they're saying here is the conveyor belt, it is a belt, therefore it wraps around these two wheels. And so what they mean is it's 15 feet all the way around. And that took me a second to figure out. So sort of a weird problem, but actually one I think I now sort of like, because it shows just how if you act in a stepwise fashion and break things down part by part, you can translate almost anything. And so in this case, what are they telling us? So we got this conveyor belt that is 15 feet long. We have these two circular wheels, each 1 foot in diameter. So what does that mean? So that means the radius for each of our wheels is half of a foot. And then we want to know the distance in feet between the two centers of the wheels. And so one thing you want to do is when you're trying to translate something or trying to come up into an equation that represents words, you want to come up with a variable in your equation that represents the thing they're asking for. So they're asking for the distance between these two centers. And we can call that x. And so if I'm trying to come up with an equation, I want to come up with an equation that contains this x, because then I just need to solve for x. So if this is x, then what does that mean? That means below here, the distance between the two centers is also going to be x. And so I know, the one thing I know is the distance all the way around is 15 feet. And so if I want to come up with an equation that contains my x here, I can say, so the distance around the conveyor belt should be equal to the distance between the two circles that should cover this portion and this portion. Then that'll be plus these two half circles here. That is all the way around. So I can call each of those, I'll say y. And so if I do that, then this becomes the distance around, so that is 15 feet, should be equal to the distance between the two circles. And so I have an x here and then an x here. That's 2x plus these two half circles. And so how do I find that distance? Because here we actually know something about these circles. We know our radius is 1/2. And so the circumference for each of these circles should be 2 pi r, or 2 pi times 1/2, which is just pi. So that's the distance all the way around my circles. Now, I don't want the distance all the way around. I just want half of each of these circles. And so that should be 1/2 pi, or pi over 2. So each of my y's is equal to pi over 2. And because I have two of them, so there'll be 2x plus 2y. And so this is really just 15 is equal to 2x plus 2 times pi over 2, which is just pi. And so now I have an equation that I can get in terms of x, the thing they are asking me for. So 2x is equal to 15 minus pi, and therefore x is just equal to 15 minus pi over 2. And that is A.